This is me on Facebook for not answering because I don't have a phone line that has an actual service provider. So I do a text now. Facebook has a phone call option. I phone called Lolo. Sounds like Hawaiian, but she's Gordon Morrison. Name drop. My personal life. And this is a rogue display. So I was like, there's a lot of rogue things. Kristen Blodgett, name drop. Lily Canfield, name drop. Not my friend on Facebook, but the previous two name drops are. Name dropping slides. This is a rogue display because in Madison they push it with the ghost. Wish I just told 8 people they're ghosts for not picking me up. I just hitchhiked. In a complex system, industrial.
Augusta and Lily, and not for nothing.
This is all just to put over the options available. But there's no one to represent who made this up, so whoever thought of this, plugging you with the display of the floral. This is a rogue display, so I was like, there's a lot of rogue things. Kristen Blodgett, name drop. Lily Canfield, name drop. Not my friend on Facebook, but the previous two name drops are. Name dropping slides. This is a rogue display because of Madison.
These are more prominent during the night.
8 people, they're ghosts for not picking me up. I just hitchhiked. In a complex system, industrial, there's one of 13 people who pick you up. On the road, there's one orchestra, and that's next level, but this is what they push. Rogue displays, I'm feeling it. The options available.
Suck the media and Joe Biden. It's just still Trump's. No, it's TV where they said that the county of the jail, and this is where they're getting their buzzwords. Donald Trump flew into Atlanta to take a mugshot, and in an hour flew out of there. They said that jail where he flew into, there's been deaths with people checking into custody. I bet there's been deaths with people checking into custody in any jail, just because how it's run. And this is not how a check-in counter is. When you first walk into a door, any place, whether it be a jail, a post office, a library, a hospital, and the person behind the desk is not worthy to be checking you in or answering questions, this is when problems surmount. And I'm not trying to say a statistic is a runoff, but what they just said, the county jail, any jail that Donald Trump checked into to take a mugshot, people die doing that, using that on TV as like a buzzword is an infringement, prima facie, point blank. If you're on TV saying this, you're an alarmist. And I'm going to leave it at that. Next point. Nexus is in flux. We're going to dial into Edward Witten. Stay tuned.
Because no one put in the word, and this was after the 4th of July because doctors take the 4th of July off. And she's like, oh, the service counter. That's where this guy gave me a DVD for cheap because it was free and it was of myself. So I understand why he did it. And this is why I got to get closer to a person other than him at the service counter. And I knew that she wasn't the person from the ER because they told me not to come back unless it's an emergency. And so to get a surgery for rehab step 3, to get an emergency for a surgery, you need an MRI. This was guy gave me a hotline, but it wasn't if it was the last 10 minutes, which I hitchhiked on my knee with my thumb out for a guy to drive me to my bank to get all of these drinks, to get to the hospital on time for 10 minutes for this lady to usher me to the front desk to get a hotline. She thought she could do better, but this one person had rehab on their shirt. And I'm like, when I was a kid on a team, we had to pay money to get shirts. You paid money to get yours too, right? She's like, yeah. We shared a moment, and it is what it is. The rest is history. And they must hate doing that, so they don't. But she just set me up with an MRI because no one put it in the world, and this was after the 4th of July. Have for orthopedics.
No, but you're close. You're nearby. You go towards those windows and go left.
Okay, because that's what the same place that sent me. I went to Mayfair, and like the people over there said that we'll take an MRI
Oh, no,
of you.
like over in here, if you go that hallway.
I know what you're saying. It's
they-
right over there, right?
Did they send you over here?
No, but at the same time, this is where I went for my different rehab. Took pills and they OD'd the same night this was on rehab, but they're saying that this
This is
rehab
surgery.
is for surgery.
Yeah, I'll walk you over to physical therapy.
Someone took pills and they OD'd the same night this was on, and this guy. I grew up with Lily and Kristen. Later, I met a Christian, but I was a kid of a burial at and then the rest is history. After Lily, one thing notably, she put her foot up her leg and it was blocking a door entrance, so I couldn't get by. And I thought that I don't want to get by because her foot is up and her leg is up, and she put it halfway above so that the door handle, where the door, if you release the handle, there's like a tongue that comes out. It's a metal tongue, and it locks it. And I know how to pick locks, and I know what it looks like to pick a lock if you're good at it. And if you can get it in like one try, it's a hole in one. If it's in 2 or 3 tries or 4, there's still like a base hit, a home run with the guy in first, a home run with the guy in second, a home run with the guy in third. After 4 tries, you're not looking that good. And picking locks is interesting because it's definitely rebellious, because you're opening something unclassically that shouldn't be. And can we look at particle physics like this? I've seen a rogue name, and it's Kristen, in more than one place. And I'm going to show you the other place in just 1 minute. But for all intents and purposes, I want to put Kristen Blodgett in my handle twice. I'm going to this time. Someone took update of what's going on is I had a whole section on e-bagging, and I want to make like this crystallized infinity clear, so I might be drawing and painting and etching and sketching what it means to be e-bagging, because this digital realm, with compliances, I'm under eval and I don't know why. There are some things that are lesser, and when it comes to banks, if you have a bank that is associated with cybernetics, then they come a dime a dozen with what it comes to when it's incorporated with credentials. So much so that they will defame your routing and account number when you're trying to verify something and say that it is not even valid. I learned this after trying to do something, because when the chips are down, this is what Heath Ledger said in The Joker. Whoever wrote that was onto something. And that's what I mean to say inside of like how when the Greeks in Europe wrote in mathematics, but then they created the sports of Olympics at the same time, that line of reasoning was deducted on paper at first. And on paper, things usually don't look good, but when it goes into fruition, this is how e-bagging gains legs. I can't verify my account unless it's an actual legitimate bank, and I have one actual legitimate bank right down the road, but their online app doesn't give my routing and account number, so I'm going to have to like walk down there later and ask for them to write it on paper. But I have to get there, and it's not equal to my window of time because I have specific ordinances. Not really, but when you're dealing with trauma such as an injury and you're trying to make do, you'll get passed around within hospitals if they're in the system and you don't have insurance, like a bag of hot potatoes being dropped and playing hot potato within the bag
these little gremlins at the same time. It's extra footage. These are shadows. These are more prominent during the nighttime, and so you can like hide under one or two of them and get some good coverage as if you're wearing a brimmed hat. And then wearing brimmed hat, you get coverage of shadows. So the difference of temperature between in the summertime shadows to the sun burning is so drastic because nowadays the sun is looking more white than ever. So that temperature variation is significantly notable if you're in shadows or not. And this is what is a finger on the pulse of e-begging when you're trying to hone into what climate change is in the community. And I hope I don't get flagged for saying that. It's just I'd be chasing shadows of trees that are half and half from a bird's eye view above the sun rays coming down. And this is legitimate. And this is what Edward Witten, he went into the standard model of particles and he said it's not linear. And then David Deutsch said in Two Sides of a Double Slit Experiment, when you shine a light inside any closed region like a shoebox, and it changed the game forever because he showed with the shoebox the double slit experiment of Maxwell's demon. And Edward Witten was like, Maxwell's demon, his equation was meant for linearity and quantum mechanics derived by the wave function with Heisenberg. It clearly isn't. So when David Deutsch went in and he showed with the shoebox, he's got like an English accent. I think he's English, despite the fact there's prominent figures in Europe who have incorporated math, science, and sports in Greece. There's like, a handful of them. And David Deutsch, I think he's English, and England is in Europe. But if you're combining him and Edward Witten, I'd probably go with Edward Witten and make fun of David Deutsch because Edward Witten has got M theory on lock, and this is the closest thing what Einstein's relativity has gotten.